the whole point of this is more dApps, more affiliate groups, and just again like Hxro being the liquidity layer, the L2 equivalent.
That powers it all, yeah.
That powers it all underneath.
Powered by Hxro Network. Welcome back to the Hxro Network, here with RT, your host, and Gunny to my left here.
What up, RT?
I'm good, man. It's been a while since we got a good update here on the network stuff. There's lots to talk about today, particularly volume incentives that are going live. So let's dive right into it. What's going on in the network?
It's been kicked off the last, a lot of building the last year and a half, and things are starting to surface.
It's really heating up on Twitter, particularly YOLO NOLO last week, just like really taking off with the meme stuff.
That was crazy. Yeah,
Discord bot that basically plugs into the parimutuel protocol. Pretty sweet. The first real like mass adoption type use case where you're like, okay, how many daily active users does Discord have? And if any Discord can be retrofitted with that, it's pretty cool.
It's really awesome, and I love it. It's a tiny team, young team that's super nimble, just executing on ideas at light speed, and built this bot to the parimutuel protocol. Kind of like similar to, it's like the Moonrec analog, but doesn't have it front end. It's all embedded technology on Discord. The cool thing is that they have it in their own Discord community chat, but any Discord channel can download it, can download the bot. So if you're an operator, you get a percentage of all the transaction fees that come through your server if you'd have it downloaded. And then your community, anybody in your community, if they've downloaded the bot as a user, whether they downloaded it from the YOLO NOLO Discord or from one of, from the BlockMeets Discord, one of any other Discords, they can play it anywhere. And so they started with this concept where it's just YOLO NOLO. You basically it's like one command. It creates a wallet, and you send the wallet a little SOL, a little USDC, and it's playing the parimutuels just like the Moonrec markets, the up down markets, where it's like /YOLO for up and /NOLO for down. And
on the 5 minute, right?
Yeah, they're running the 5 minutes right now. I think just the level of messaging and stuff through Discord, they kind of have to manage that so they don't get rate limited and whatnot. Yeah. But came up with this concept. They built it over a couple weeks. And can you hear that noise, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It was. It's okay now.
Okay. And so, they put that put that together and launched it a week ago. And I think some of the why they're so on point is these are great engineers, and they kind of get the marketing side too. Like they're really kind of capturing the meme culture and like the meanness of YOLO, and they ended up launching this token on it. And what came across as a meme token initially, there's actually they're going to be doing a lot with it. So I think the people that got in really early, that are hanging, even the people that get in now, it still feels early for it.
It's like a 2 mil market cap. I think I was looking at it earlier. Yeah.
2 mil market cap. And yeah, the thing is just they're going to do protocol rev share. They're taking portions of the transaction fees, putting them back to protocol liquidity. They're doing all the right moves with it. And I'm excited to see this thing go. It's going to be really, really exciting, and a great way to start. They, already built a nice sizable community. It's only been a week old. It's very few influencers in it or anything. Very limited marketing. They did it on zero budget, and this is how great things happen, right?
Yeah, no, it's the first real thing you can touch that I've seen built in there. There's been a lot of buzz, different builders coming into the Hxro Network and putting stuff out there, but this is the first one that really, in my mind, took off over the last week. Seeing it on Twitter, their Twitter is on point, by the way. Just putting out Kramer memes of Kramer said, "Don't buy YOLO." It's pretty funny stuff. So
it's great. I'm really excited to see what they're doing, and like you said, they're very much on point with everything. They just, so today they just made this new release that was just like a slash commands that allow you to buy YOLO and actually buy Hxro, buy Hxro, which
by Solana too, I think was the fourth.
By Solana, yeah, it's all written to the to the Hxro Network parimutuel protocol. So all that volume that comes down, filters down into the protocol. Protocol's collecting, the Hxro Network's collecting fees off it as well.
It's kind of crazy to think that they've just turned. I mean, I know the Blockmates guys have it in their Discord, and they were like basically like they're a DEX now, right? You can go into that Discord and slash command into a bag. It's kind of sick. I mean, that alone is like its own product. It's really awesome, man. It really is. And so I think where they're going with it, so that they added this this ability to start buying, and ironically didn't add a sell button, which I think is hysterical. Probably want to upgrade that eventually, but yeah, eventually no need to rush. Like a forward slash dump. Dump. Yeah. So they launched that, and then the next thing I think they're going to be working on is they're going to be writing. I think they got some other things, like they're putting leaderboards together and going to launch a YOLO NOLO a site for just kind of like for leaderboards and things like that, and instruction guides and stuff. And then they're going to launch perps. They're gonna write to dexterity protocol, and you're going to be able to, with these slash commands right in Discord, be able to degen perps. So that's going to be pretty cool to see as well. Yeah. Curious to see how that pans out. Now, outside of that, you've got volume incentives going live. Is it this week, this month? What's going on with that? Yeah, we're waiting on the OpenHxro team to so basically OpenHxro is going to launch a completely updated and polished V2. They put out a few months ago, and just like this closed beta, kind of an MVP of a front end implementation. And so what they're doing is they're going to open source. I think the order of operations here is they're going to open source their UI as this reference implementation, and that hopefully other GUIs, other teams will come pull the GUI and then basically build their own dApps into Hxro Network. And obviously, you don't have to use that GUI if you're building into the network. You can. It's just an easy turnkey option, and then that's going to come out imminently. I think they're just doing a couple last minute things to it, and along with that is going to be the network's going to launch their volume incentives program for derivatives, and what that is if you saw a few months ago, there was this Road to Trillion post that went out, and basically what they're doing is it ended up being 40 million Hxro that's getting allocated to a pool. It'll be paid out as ES Hxro, so as the escrow Hxro token, and it's in 1,000 $1 billion notional value epochs. So every $1 billion of volume that comes into the network, it'll take all the wallets, and then it'll distribute rewards pro rata based on your percentage share of that volume nice. As ES Hxro. And so those volume incentives are going out, and then I think the core contributing team is working now also on volume incentives for the parimutuels. So ironically, just back to YOLO NOLO and Iconic and all these other ones that have the parimutuel application, like if you have a wallet attached to that, you are going to start receiving rewards from the network. So you have this like really cool compounding effect. Like you're in YOLO NOLO, you're going to be getting YOLO NOLO rewards, and then you're also going to be getting Hxro Network rewards into that same wallet eventually as well. Sick. And those taper off, right? It's not, we were talking about it the other day, it's not linear over time. It's pretty like front loaded. So early users, early adopters, so to speak, are going to be rewarded a little bit. It's on like an exponentially decaying curve. So if the rewards at the outset to really promote early adoption are larger than they would be, say, when you're into like the $500 billion epoch, which would be much smaller and kind of just like tails off over time. But I think based on the size of it, pending on the level of success, just kind of what's going on in the market, it's going to be a couple-year program, and I think there's a real opportunity right now. And again, all of that volume, like
anything that's coming into this OpenHxro reference implementation through any dApps. There's already a few other dApps that are building better to Dexterity that are going to be announced here in the next few weeks. All of that liquidity is shared, and so it's the beauty of it is that these teams don't have to worry about procuring market makers or coming up with their own liquidity strategy. It's already there in this Hxro Network liquidity layer, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, they really just have to build the front end and then plug into the existing, in this case, perp or futures liquidity for Dexterity.
You got it. The front end, marketing.
So YOLO NOLO Discord, I say YOLO 5 minute, $5, like that gets pooled into the same 5 minute pool that Iconic is running.
Correct.
Okay, sick.
It all bottoms out into Hxro Network protocol. So same concept in the parimutuel. So every parimutuel transaction is all running, even like, once YOLO NOLO, like right now, I think it's only BTC, but when they put out Sol USDC 5 minute, that like Bonk Swap has.
I was just going to say, Bonk or Bust is another iteration of that.
So it's a network of dApps that are all networked into these protocols that are basically sharing liquidity.
Dope. Yeah. Love that.
Ideally, you get the compounding effects of it, and away we go.
Now, if we want to flip over, we can take a look at some of the network stats here. I've got them up on the whatever it's called page. I don't know what the dashboard's called. It starts with a G.
Hxro stats, whatever it is.
Yeah, it starts with a G, but I've got the stats up here. So total network volume had eclipsed 250 million last couple weeks ago, I guess. I was going to say last month, but it's almost the end of May. So, that's plugging away. That's not nothing after what? How many months has it been live now?
I think since November.
Like November, and really only ticking up. I mean, I think it was Iconic was the main source initially.
I can give a couple updates. There's some cool things happening. And just the answer is yes. It really was only a couple of dApps that were pushing it, and derivatives haven't had their moment yet with Hxro because it was just in a closed beta, and largely it was a very small group of like test pilots that were just working on. I mean, what the team built. You got to remember they built these risk engine and everything from dead scratch. So like it's already on a second version even before it went public because obviously that risk engine is everything, and we got to make sure that it's just like it's absolute top tier in terms of security, in terms of managing liquidations and all the things that have to happen. So that is that's now in a place where it's going to roll out, and I think we're going to see a pretty major, and it's not just that, it's that plus the level of interest that we're getting, that the network is getting from the development community.
You guys have a hacker house like every month, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, our DevRel has been absolutely killing it. He's been going into, he's doing a cohort right now with a big group of devs in Vietnam. It literally is like going all over the world, just like saying, "Hey, engineers, here's how you build the Hxro Network. You want to build betting games, you want to build derivative markets, you want to come up with your own concept. Here's how you do it." And it's been starting to bear some fruit. And then on top of that, the network put this $650,000 grant program together. There's like 3 or 4 other projects that are coming off that. One pretty major one that I'm pretty excited about that is going through the foundation right now to get approval. That basically building like a Robinhood style dApp to the Solana Saga. To their new mobile phone. And I think there's something interesting there because if you really kind of take a step back, like Web3 has not had its mobile moment yet.
No. And, there's been a couple of attempts, but nothing that's really captured.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nothing major. And so going to be pretty kick-ass. I think by the end of this year, if the network could really have, look at that. How's that average volume negative?
I don't know. I was wondering that too. It's like daily average volume is down, or it's just
I think I would venture to say that there's something off on that statistics.
Bad data. Close it.
Yeah, but bottom line is, it'll be way above negative 5,600.
Look, I mean, it's interesting to me as we're talking now. It's making sense to me. Like as a builder, and through my fund, we work with a lot of founders, and they've got these great ideas, and they're designing things, and they're programming things, and then they get their launch, and there's no TVL. There's not that liquidity to help whatever their DeFi protocol is. So I can imagine it'd be super attractive to builders to come in and say, look, if you build a dApp here, you can plug in, and the hardest part for you, which is getting that liquidity, because how many failed exchanges have we seen where they come in, they say, oh, we got the tooling, we got the engine, we got all this cool stuff. But traders want to trade, players want to play, DeFi-ors want to DeFi where there's liquidity, where there's depth. And to get that depth, you need the users. And to get those users, you need the depth. And so you've got this spinning wheel of like failure right out the gates.
The cold start problem, the chicken and the egg problem.
And so the sales pitch, I can imagine going into these programmer atmospheres is like, guys, you don't have to worry about that. Come here, build this, and you will have that base liquidity. So your first users show up. They're not standing in an empty room wondering when someone else is going to come in.
That's it. It's very rare that you see engineers that actually know how to do marketing really well. Also, even if they have good tech, good tech.
Yeah, I learned that a PhD in computer programming does not make the best founder. It sounds dope, but then they get in with a cool product and it falls flat because they don't understand the crypto part or the marketing.
The best
part.
founders, being here for a few years now, it seems to me is the best ones are either insanely good engineers, but also understand crypto culture.
Yep.
And understand the marketing that you need to do to bootstrap. Like, beauty of crypto is you have what used to be, I would say, maybe 20 million, maybe now it's closer to 2 million, test pilots. Mm-hmm. And if you can find a small group of test pilots to build a community on, like they'll throw their funds at it to see if it has market fit or not. And, that's what I think the founders that really figure that out quickly are the ones that know how to, kind of capture the opportunities here.
Yeah. And we really do need marketing. I know there's a lot of hate sometimes on like marketing tactics, and there's definitely some shady ones out there, but you need people, you need users, you need people to come in, and there's like a massive hungry trough of attention grabbing going on. And so finding ways to stand out in that. I mean, I don't think it's a case where you can say like, oh, you just build a good product and people will come. Like, it's just not quite how it works.
It never works that way. You have to you got to swallow the pill. You got to be loud. And think you're not like don't ever think you're above marketing. It's like it's as critical as having good technology. It's like
and we're seeing that really. Yeah. I was gonna say we're seeing that really quickly with YOLO Nolo coming out last week. I use that as an example because like they didn't exist, then they launched like a / command program, very basic on the front end at least, and they stick their token out there completely dark, no real pre-hype, nothing. And it seems to be catching fire. Like it's just kind of like a nice little trend up into the right so far. So not a whole lot of selling going on in there just yet. And markets go up and down. It's not like a buy reco at any level, but I've been watching this thing pretty closely over the last week, and it's fun to see them on Twitter just grabbing every meme or current thought of the day and throwing YOLO into it. It's a very memeable.
I mean, they've already had a couple of, I guess it's a sign of forward progress. Like there's been a couple of scammy projects that are like trying to like utilize the YOLO token symbol or something called Baby YOLO launch, which
it's kind of crazy that they've already got copycats. They've been out for a week.
It's been for a week, and it's on Solana. It's not like it's like,
and it's a sub 5 mil market cap. Like it's a pretty small thing. It's not like trying to come out with like Baby Pepe. I might understand that at 1.7 billion at the peak, but that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, does with Pepe, it's pure nothingness like Doge. That's like some of the beauty of it, just about the memes.
Mm-hmm. Although I was thinking about this the other day, the one thing that always had staying power in my mind for Doge was like the fact that it was POW. It really did have its own network of miners. Like Pepe is literally just like living on Ethereum. I don't know that it's going to have that same staying power, but I'm the guy who missed it, so don't listen to me on that. One of many.
You know, so so I think some of the beauty of this with YOLO NOLO is I mean, they literally started as a meme company. They put like 86% of their supply on the offer and like loaded up the front, the USDC side of the 50-50 pool of like a pool two with like it's like $100 or something like that, and then just let it rip, and whatever happens, right? And it gave people an opportunity to get in, and the thing started at $250 market cap in 7 days ago, and it's at over $2 million.
$2 million, yeah. Somewhat of a balloon. Now, going forward, I mean, we're seeing a lull in network fees, obviously, as like very much kind of part and parcel with price action over the last month. Going forward, like, what are you most looking forward to? I know you got a few things coming up launching. You probably can't talk about. As far as development, I don't know, milestones, number of dApps that are coming. Can you give us a little color on sort of what to expect in the next 2 months?
Yeah, I think there's another. I don't have the stat in front of it, but it's something like it's like 10 or 12 dApps that are currently building to the network, which is not bad.
No, that number goes up every time I ask you last. I like that.
Well, the grant program, like I said, has been great, and then you're starting to get more and more. Like there was a great little, even like these kind of things that aren't straight dApp building, but there's this project called SoulTrek that just built like a low code, no code solution where you use these like programming blocks and you kind of connect the dots of them through their SDK to create you can create a DEX market with it. Like you can do whatever you want on the protocol with it. So like real kind of cool things that are just making it like breaking down barriers and making access even easier for
like
engineers.
Dev tooling
is a critical part of this, right?
Yeah.
And so that's great. And then on the volume front, like there is a big affiliate called 166-bit that is about to launch. That and I'm only saying because it's like because there's a signed agreement now on it. But the team is the affiliate for Asia, for Betfair for Asian markets, like 3 million users, and like they're basically setting up their own white label version of Iconic. It's all fed into the network, and like there's things like that are going on that I think the team has really kind of pivoted its focus into, and getting those launched. Because it's not just the whole point of this is more dApps, more affiliate groups. And just again, like Hxro being the liquidity layer, the L2 equivalent,
that powers it all, yeah.
That powers it all underneath.
I'd love to see that on web pages, like Web 2 pages. I mean, that's essentially what you're talking about, right? With Betfair, like you would have your users, they're on there doing whatever they're already doing, and then there's a widget option to basically interact with the network without necessarily having like a wallet set up.
They don't even need, like on like any of these operator sites, like they just do it right from their regular betting wallet, and then it's all the relationship between the operator and the network is separate. It's just they're just plugging into content effectively.
So they host it in a Web 2 interface, but on the back end they're interacting with the protocol.
It all settles interacting with the protocol. It's all Web 3, and they get their volume aggregation. And it's a very synergistic, well-aligned, very much analogous to like, like again, like if you ever trade something through like a broker, the broker is usually plugged into the problem in TradFi is like the broker's plugged into like there's 4 different middlemen in between, which is why you're getting like your face ripped off. But it would be just like if you had a application that was just plugged into like the Mercantile Exchange as if it was a broker. Yeah. And you get all the aggregation from all the volume that's coming from all the different brokers on the exchange and all the members and everything. And your broker is basically showing those markets and you're trading through that broker. It's a similar concept there without the middlemen.
It's one of the first times that, I mean, we've talked about it a lot, and I say we, like you and I on the show, but just really everyone in crypto saying like someday we will and need to get to a point where you don't really know that you're interacting with crypto. You're using these protocols, you're benefiting from the things that we get from these protocols without necessarily having to know about them. And this is one of the first times that I'm hearing about that in real time. I'm sure there's a few examples, but that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's the idea. And man, it's just starting to heat up. I think again, like at least with the groups I'm talking to, like I get really good confirmation that building it on Solana is the right way to go, just because of transaction fees and as complex as it can be sometimes building there, it's the right tech for what we need. So
yeah. And lastly, I know there was like capital blocks on, so you're kind of like really taking that slow and steady approach as you work your way up and de-risk the network and get that Lindy effect going. What's the latest with that? I know some people are asking, like, when do these pools grow? When does that liquidity layer just beef up? Do you have plans on what that looks like?
Yeah, deposits are going to open up when volume incentives open up like a little wider. They're still going to be capital blocks. I think it's going to I want to say it's going to 25,000 max or something.
From
like 5.
5. Nice. Okay. Yeah. So 500% increase in capital blocks over the next midterm.
Don't fully quote. I think it's that. Yeah. I think if it's not, it's going to go to 10 and then to 25 pretty quickly.
Yeah. Sweet. And then the long-term vision obviously is open it up.
Open it up as like insurance pools grow, and as like, just like you said, like getting more lendiness in the network, across the network is important.
Yeah. Well, that's the way to do it. I mean, coming in hot and heavy with untested contracts is a great way to waste 2 years of development and then be broke and owe people money. So
right, it would be one thing if it was like if it was like old school, like going in there and like putting up like double tendies or whatever, and just keep flipping into new projects and watching them rug. But that's not. Yeah. This thing has been built for so long, and it's built to be long-term sustainable. And we want this thing to far outweigh our time here and just be here for a long time. So.
Well, I'm excited for what's coming up this year on Solana. Do you want to take maybe 2 minutes as we wrap up today and talk about the Fire Dancer? Because I know like the base network is getting a big facelift this year. I don't think too many people know about that, myself included.
Yeah, so Fire Dancer is a new Solana client that you'll have the option to run as a validator, and basically is built by the chief data scientist or the chief technology scientist, whatever his title is, at Jump Trading, and who basically has been responsible for their ultra latency infrastructure. And they seem to have solved a way to run Solana at I think it's testing close to like 600,000 transactions per second right now. So basically instantaneous, like at scale. Yeah. And so if Solana runs 400 millisecond blocks, basically you'll be able to put through a massive amount of transactions without any delay. So you get closer and closer to parity with that 400 millisecond block time. And when that's done consistently, like it's as instantaneous, it's faster than you can blink. So it's pretty incredible. It's already fast. It's already fast, and the fees are always like you never. One thing about Solana is you never look at fees. You just never look at your fees. Like, you put like a half a Solana in a wallet, and like
for a year later, it's a quarter Solana. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, we don't have to get into it today, but like Ethereum was having some issues the other day, right? And I think that really opened people's eyes. I saw a couple interesting threads. Totally was retweeting thoughtful commentary, not like maxi like tribalism, but just this idea that every network prioritizes for a certain thing. And, Ethereum was prioritizing for uptime. Solana was prioritizing for accuracy or something to that effect. And I think it took a little bit of heat off of Solana's downtimes that they have had. They haven't had one lately, knock on wood. But I always thought it was impressive. People are like freaking out about it. I'm like, okay, cool. And then in DeFi, with some Oracle risk. But at the end of the day, they reorged, they got it back online. And for the trade-offs that come with that, whether it's speed, finality, like fees, I don't know. I'm still long-term excited about everything that's going on with.
I just heard a story that I'll share. It's not an anecdote; it's a real story. It's there was a team on Solana that remember when Starbucks did their NFT?
Yeah.
So that was going to get launched on Solana, and literally when the deal was being worked, and I'm hearing this third parties, but when the deal was being worked, Solana went down twice. And they and Starbucks backed away. They ended up going to Polygon. And now that apparently they've kind of come back and said, well,
We want back in. Dude, I'm not here to hate on Polygon for any political reason other than that I just don't like using it. I actually scooped some up at the start of the year saying like, I'm going to DC into Polygon, and just sending it from Exchange to my wallet, it was like an obscene amount of waiting. And then it sat at 2 confirmations for almost 45 minutes. And then when it finally finished, it said that the transaction took like 14 seconds. And I just like, this is just weird. It's crotchety.
Like,
they've got a lot of cool stuff going on over there. I'm not going to hate on them high level, but as a user, I have struggled to fall in love with Polygon despite.
Well, I think one thing that I can say, just like another little drop on here, a lot of that DeFi style tooling that exists on other chains, like we're bringing it to Solana. Like there's already a couple of kind of hints at it with some other projects, but the stuff that like, if you're more, beyond a DeFi noob and you understand how to use some of these things, like I think it's going to be pretty exciting. And then the idea is like, can we give degens, some of the whale degens even that are in EVM world, like something interesting to do and something interesting to be a part of on Solana. And I think, hopefully Hxro Network is the launching point for Solana Summer.
One summer or the other. I think it's
I'll take spring or summer or fall. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, well, this summer or next, I'm not too excited about the summer broadly, but you know that I'm going to be live in about an hour to talk about that. Although I think this is going live on Thursday, so never mind. Anyways, cut that out, dude. It's been great chatting with you here about Hxro Network today. I think we've given the people a lot to chew on, and we should get back into this for the next big blog update, I guess, over the next month or two. For sure. 12 dApps coming, and total network volume creeping up to 300 million. So it may not be Solana summer. It might be, but it might be. It certainly feels like it's going to be a Hxro summer. So
I think it's
looking
Hxro
forward
summer.
to it. Yeah.
Agreed. All right, man. Thank you so much.
Okay. Take care, guys, and thanks for joining us on The Network Effect. Until next time, always play from a position of strength. Cheers.